Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
By the Barndominium Company and Resto Pros of the Midlands. Part of the Chief Sports Network. Go Gamecocks!
He'll be fire on the mountain.
Consecutive home runs for Carolina.
It is good. It's gone.
He's in. Touchdown. Williams with a throw to the plate.
He's going to score. It's a walk-off.
Touchdown, South Carolina.
Greetings and good morning. Welcome in and welcome home. Inside the Gamecocks, the morning show, firing up right now. JB having a little technical issue, it looks like. So he's been popping in and out. So you got Phil, Mad Dog, Mullinax in with you. Justin Hall over there. 4-quarter Friday. Good to see you, Justin. How you doing this morning?
Good to see you, Phil. You nailed that intro right there. I felt like JB was in the room.
I can't tell you how anxiety ridden I was when all that started. So at least the beginning of the show started with what everyone is familiar with. But there's JB.
There's JB.
Welcome in to your show. Oh, no. Can you hear us?
Man.
No. Oh, this is fun. I love it. We'll have to figure it out, figure something out. I don't know. Did the mic die or who knows?
You never know in these situations.
Yeah, it's an interesting set of circumstances. Seeing as how I was taking the day off today. No, I'm just kidding. But that's all right. You want to hang around in the background, JB, see if we can't figure something out? Yeah, we'll get it all going. Yeah. But the man, you know what? Since we've got you here, we could talk a little high school, right? So
sure.
Friday night lights turns into some Thursday night lights to avoid some rain this week. I think down on the coast more so than anything else. Am I correct there?
No, the Midlands. I don't understand what we're doing. The Midlands has decided, some schools, and again, I have great relationships with these coaches and with these athletic directors. So let me make that abundantly clear that they are my friends and I appreciate them and I appreciate their contributions to our state and molding young minds and young men. However, when I start getting word that games are being shifted and it is for rain, I have my concerns.
Yeah, just rain. I mean, and I did not play high school football.
Neither did I.
I was in band, and I can promise you that it really stinks wearing that big uniform, that wool uniform at the time in the pouring rain. But you know what? Back in the last century, that's precisely what we did. As we trudged up the hill both ways in the snow to walk ourselves to work, we also played football and marched shows in the weather, in the rain. So that's a new day and age, man. They closed the schools up here for wind. I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Good point.
So over this generation.
Y'all can hear me fine now, right?
Yeah, look at you. You're back.
I don't know what happened.
My morning is secure. Everything's fine now.
It's all good. It's all good in the hood. Sorry about that. I hate technical problems. I want to
Don't we all
murder people when that happens, but I won't do that. Although there's a guy out there that wants to murder me, but we won't tell him where we'll be in Atlanta, Phil. That's for sure. Good morning. Oh, man, what a day. I'm sure you've already mentioned that the apparel deal will be we should get an announcement tomorrow
I haven't even touched on shoes yet, man.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. We, of course, Justin and I are going to get into 10 facts about Gamecock football that you should know in 2025 coming up here in a little bit. We got Perry Orth coming up at 11. We got Hale McGranahan on a recruiting update coming up at 10:30. So we got a full boat today. And of course, we've got the email this morning from the Board of Trustees that they will meet on an apparel deal tomorrow. And I do expect some changes at South Carolina. And if all goes well in the morning, I think the public will know about those changes and the timeline in which that will be happening at the University of South Carolina. So I do have additional details, all that. Some of it's not confirmed, so not going to get too much further into it. This will be a university announcement, and then we'll be able to react to it tomorrow with all of you. But it does look like South Carolina is going to be making a change in their apparel deal. So that is certainly news. Tonight, 7:00, first Carolina calls of the season. How about that? Shane Beamer will be on the air this evening for those of you that would like to ask questions or send in tweets or whatever the case is.
Todd tight end more.
Yeah. I haven't heard that in a while, thankfully. They're doing a decent job of screening the questions. Todd Ellis likes to make fun of that question. So, but if you want to get some Shane Beamer, I'll bet you somebody will call tonight and ask about apparel, and I'll bet you Shane won't say anything about it. But that will probably be on the docket as well. And most importantly, though, today, how about Irmo? Man, I tell you what, dude. Man, I tell you what. Yeah, what a ball game. Good for those kids. And I know that Gamecock baseball is fired up for them, and they're looking for ways to honor these guys down the road and things like that. So what a night. What a night for Irmo. That was incredible.
It was 2010 Omaha vibes for me, I think, in a much smaller scale. I finished rocking the daughter to bed, and I look at my phone, and it's 6-1 South Dakota, and I went, "Oh, okay, the run is coming to an end." But flipped over there, started watching a little bit of it, and man, those kids, they're right up the road from me. I live in Lexington County. They're right up the road from me. I've back in a day that I won't mention, working for a summer collegiate baseball team, I may or may not have been in a Lexington County Blowfish mascot suit at Irmo Little League's opening day. Now, those kids aren't the same ones as these, but still, it's impressive and it's special. I know Jay Brown, mutual friend of ours, has a lot of connections and obviously, very close to that community. So it's awesome to see what they're doing.
Yeah, the Silver Fox, Jay Brown.
Yeah.
The Silver Fox is what we like to call Jay, who once had one of the best breaking balls I'd ever seen in my life until arm injuries kind of derailed that. But he does have a national championship ring.
Right.
So, hello, Jay. And Jace, his son, plays in Irmo Little League, for anybody wondering what that main connection would be there. All right, Phil, you want to stick around? We will dive right in here in just a second. 10 facts about Gamecock football heading into 2025. Again, Hale McGranahan and Perry Orth are ahead. We had the long-haired quarterback yesterday, the clean-cut one, coming up in less than an hour here on our program. Built by the Barndo Co. and presented by our friends at Resto Pros, who are always there when you need them. Resto Pros of the Midlands, RestoProsMidlandsSC.com. The Barndominium Co. builds dream homes across the Carolinas. Head to the BarndoCo.com if you'd like to do that, or if you live in the fake peach state of Georgia, who produces 7% less of the nation's peaches than we do here in South Carolina. Some interesting stuff that I was looking over yesterday, doing some prep for the show. We are 10 days until kickoff in Atlanta between Virginia Tech and South Carolina. There are a lot of very popular calendars that people like to run on social media with plays based on people's numbers and things of that nature. But I thought with 10 days to go, let's give them 10 facts, Phil, about Gamecock football as they head into 2025. And some interesting stuff in here. The number one fact, which will be up on the screen here in just a second, is one of the more interesting ones that I've seen. Justin, I actually sent this to somebody last night in the program who said, "Holy blank, I didn't realize that," which is saying a lot, and we'll get a little bit of reaction to this from you guys and from anybody that's watching or listening in the chat box as well. 10 facts to know about South Carolina football as they enter the 2025 Gamecock football season. Number 1, did you know Carolina led the SEC in average margin of victory in SEC games last year? 20 points. Did y'all know that? Did y'all realize that?
No.
No, yeah. When you
No.
sent these last night, that one was astonishing. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take that.
I mean, there were a couple who were close. And you got to remember, too, Carolina won 5 games. Like, I know that that Arkansas won their average margin of victory in the league was 19.34. They won 2. They won 2 ball games in the SEC. Gamecocks won 5, which was pretty incredible. Before we'll get to number 2 here in just a second, which Justin will kind of add on to this point.
Yeah.
But what it went to show you was when the first of all, credit to the defense because they were just lights out, but also offensively under Lenor Sellers and Dowell Loggins, when they click, and there's a lot of optimism that they'll be clicking much sooner here in just a little bit over a week.
Right. No, and the fact is, you look at one of the losses at home to LSU in week 3. Lenore Sellers doesn't go down at halftime. I know hindsight is always 20/20, but Carolina was could have ran away with that one in the second half too, had Lenore stayed healthy. And your 2 of your 3 losses were by a combined 5 points, and you still led the league in margin of victory. That's why I'm confused why a lot of folks, it's now trendy as we get closer to kickoff 10 days away, to be down on South Carolina. I find that interesting, especially considering a team. I get the wide receiver room is unproven. We talked to Coach Drew Marlowe at South Florence about this last Friday. I get it's unproven, but there's a lot of talent in the wide receiver room too. So if that's your question about the offense, I think that's going to be answered in week 1 in Atlanta.
Yeah, I think so too. And by the way, a little tidbit on that. I am heavily leaning on the fact that you're going to see a true freshman start at left guard in Shed Surratt. I think that I would almost put that in the book it category at this point in time when they open up against the Hokies. All right, to number 2 here. Again, 10 facts or things to know about South Carolina football as they enter the 2025 Gamecock football season. And this is really a lot of credit to Shane Beamer and what he's been able to do. This is an astonishing statistic to me. 7 of Shane Beamer's 15 wins in league play. Remember, him and Steve Spurrier have the exact same SEC record after 4 years, 15 and 17. 7 of those 15 wins have come by 20 or more points. Steve Spurrier coached 84 league games in Columbia, South Carolina. He had 8 wins of 20 or more of the 44 victories he had. Pretty wild.
It's wild. I mean, you look at the teams that he's beaten by that much. They include teams like Texas A&M last year, who was number 10 in the country, and it's still at the end of the year had a chance to go to Atlanta. You had Tennessee a couple of years ago, also in conference, and then Kentucky's no pushover. You beat them by 25 after being a 9-point dog last year. What he does in the SEC is pretty impressive, and I don't think because of 2023, people kind of cooled on Shane a little bit. Maybe not us. But a lot of people cooled on that hire and were ready to say, but we told you. And I think that was just a blip on the radar compared to what we saw overachieving in 21, down the stretch in 22, and then, of course, what we saw last year. This is, I mean, if he's here for any length of time equal to where he has been already, so 10 years total, these numbers that Spurrier put up that people thought would never be replicated, probably going to get replicated and broken.
Yeah, well, and, Phil, I think one of the things that makes this stat so alarming as well is because there has been a lot of feast or famine in the league under Shane. I mean, he was on the show just 2 weeks ago, right? And I flat out asked him, hey, look, you had to make a change at offensive coordinator, but your defensive coordinator was taking a lot of heat too. I mean, there were a lot of games where it got pretty ugly pretty early. Now, some of that was brought on by the offense and, quite frankly, incompetence, but also the defense, unlike last year, who was like, hey, we got your back, man. We got your back here. Let's play complimentary football. We'll get the ball back for you. You go get another crack at this thing. They couldn't do that at all. But he stuck by Clayton White. He stayed with him. And so my point in that is there were so many ugly losses, but actually when you look at that stat, there's been a lot of really nice, bright and shiny victories as well. So when a lot of these games that he's winning as the head coach of Carolina, they've been kicking ass.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it speaks to how, Shane Beamer, to me, ever since, we really got into his first season here at Carolina and how he's maneuvered off the field, if you will, building the culture, building a staff, the way he recruits, just speaks to him being like this new style coach for this new style era for college football. And stats like this are surprising to see because you haven't really thought about it, but it kind of makes sense to me in my head because I feel like South Carolina with Shane Beamer at the helm of the football team is the right place, the right man at the right time.
Mm-hmm. It seems to be. They feel good going into year number 5. All right. The third fact about Gamecock football heading into the 2025 season. Again, all these are, I'd say, fairly positive. This one probably has the most negative in it. When leading or tied at halftime, Shane Beamer, 27-3. They have won 90% of their games since he has been the head coach in Columbia, South Carolina, if leading or tied at halftime. But if trailing, 2-19. Justin, now the hope is you're never trailing at halftime, obviously, but my gut says there probably will be a game or two in which they are behind once they get there this year. Can you name the 2 games that they were trailing at halftime they came back to win?
Was that East Carolina in his second game?
That would be one. That would be one.
Oh, geez. Clemson.
Yeah.
2022.
That's correct. Those are the only 2 big ones. Surely didn't want to lose that ECU game in year 1.
Great day. Oh.
And then that Clemson game, obviously coming off of the 25-point blowout, which references the stat we just had.
Yeah.
So that's something that needs to improve. All right, we'll get to number 4 here. Again, 10 facts about South Carolina football leading into the 20.
Did you get the David Letterman music for this? This is like a top 10.
I didn't, no.
Wow.
But that if Phil wants to turn something on, he
That'd
can
been
do
a good
that.
one.
This obviously includes Rasul Faison here. Again, still very optimistic in the building that they've supplied the information they need to supply. They've received the information they need to receive, and it indicates that he should end up being eligible. That's what they're optimistic about. The 5 running backs they have on this team that would be considered the top 5 on the depth chart. Whoa.
Yeah, well, that came in hot. Yeah, there we are.
Have a combined career 986 carries, 5,618 yards, and 43 touchdowns. Now, obviously, the freshies, as Dawn Staley references, her women's basketball program from time to time. The young bucks in the room, like Matt Fuller and Juwan Howell, specifically Fuller, would be who haven't contributed to this number as much. Howell did have a bunch of carries and numbers at SC State. Augusta, of course, got his share out in Colorado, Faison, and then Oscar Attaway here in Columbia, but also in North Texas. 4 of these 5 guys, remember, they are transfers. But this leads to a lot of the optimism that has come out about this group. And somebody told me yesterday that is an excellent source on this. South Carolina really likes all of them, and you're going to see all of them. And this is part of the reason why. They've been in there. They've been banged up. They've been bruised up. They've carried the rock, Justin.
Yeah, they have. I think if you look back at the best years of South Carolina football, you don't really have a bell cow back who gets 98% of the carries in the best years. Marcus Lattimore maybe withstanding in recent history. But even in the later Spurrier years with Mike Davis, the second Mike Davis, and then you had Brandon Wilds on top of that, and even go to Will Muschamp's good years, you had Rico Dowdle, but you had A.J. Turner to tell him. And even in the good years under Shane Beamer, you have a bit of a stable group that you can turn to. I like the response from Augusta in preseason camp here, because I know they're confident about Rasul Faison in the building. I get it. But if he's not available to go, Augusta's probably your next guy up. And you're going to need a good running game. I mean, we saw that with Rocket during the A&M game. We saw it with him against Missouri and Clemson as well. This offense, I believe, will be predicated on running the ball, even though they want to stretch it a bit with Lenore's arm.
Yeah.
So to have that proven production is a positive thing, and again, sets up to where I think the only real question mark that I could give validity to is in the wide receiver room.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not questioning that on latest intel either at this point in time. But Phil, this is where 4 of our oars come in.
Right.
The running back room.
Listen, that thing's going to be loaded with it next week when it drops.
They're all going to play. I just looked at the chat box. Matt said Shane was on a radio show last night and said we'll see 4 or 5 in game 1. We've been trying to tell people that around here for like 2 months.
Right.
I think maybe a little bit more eloquently to not put words in his mouth, but choose to believe things from other places if you want to. I'm just telling you, Matt Fuller is going to play, and so is Juwan Howell.
Yeah,
et cetera, et cetera.
I like Juwan Howell.
They all look. Yeah, mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're good. All right, fact number 5, Matt. I wasn't picking on you, by the way. This is kind of a known fact, but one that's been forgotten, maybe in some circles. Carolina set a school record last year. 4 of their 9 wins were over ranked opponents in 2024. And again, guys, it just kind of leads back to year 4 and year 5 oftentimes are kind of defining for coaches. You start to see an uptick or a downtick. Shane Beamer got an uptick.
He did. Overperformed in some areas again early on in his career and got those pop wins that you thought could be program changers. And then 2023 happened with a bunch of injuries in the offensive line room. And last year you just saw a team that just played better early against top quality opponents. Now again, LSU and Alabama were losses, but even that Clemson game could have gotten away from them late in the season, early in the game. It could have gotten away from them. Just the offense wasn't executing in the red zone, and yet you see him come through. Shane has an ability. It's uncanny. I've talked to him before games against Kentucky. I've talked to him before games against A&M. It's amazing just the level-headedness he has, that as long as this team does what they're capable of doing, we should go out there and be able to win and put the best team on the field. And when the chips are down against ranked opponents, they're doing it every season. And last year, and this year too, gives you plenty of opportunities to do that.
There's no doubt about that. By the way, I did just get a text, and it is a go-ahead to confirm that South Carolina will be switching to Nike as their new apparel provider. They will meet with the Board of Trustees tomorrow. Nice. And Nike, I don't have the exact details of how all this will unfold. There's supposed to be an exclusive negotiating period with Under Armour. Clearly, there have been some, as we pointed out last week, Phil, that there were some things kind of going on that we're going to be maybe leading in a different direction. That is, it will be Nike. The check mark will be on Gamecock athletic apparel down the road. Whether they finish out this deal, I would imagine they will with Under Armour to the middle of next year or not. But Nike will be stepping in for Under Armour. Again, I have received some details on some of what was negotiated. I will say I'm a little surprised, but also don't know the full scope of anything, and maybe we'll get more of that tomorrow. But South Carolina will become a Nike school here fairly soon. All right, we'll come back to that as we do have Hale coming up as well and Perry Orth. Moving on, top 10 facts heading into the 2025 South Carolina football season. 3 and 4 is Shane Beamer. This is pretty startling, guys, versus top 10 teams in his first 4 years. He's played 7 top 10 teams as the head coach. He's won 3. Every other coach in program history has combined for 4 top 10 wins when you total up all of their first 4 years combined.
Man, 3 against top 10 opponents is just kind of nuts, especially when you think about like the disarray this program was in when Beamer took over coming out of COVID. I mean, the roster was in better shape than when Muschamp assumed the role coming out of 2015. But man, it's an impressive stat.
And considering how many of those were Georgia? 2 or 3 of those losses were Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Clemson wasn't ranked in the top 10 when they came in here in 2023. That's spoiler. That's my favorite stat of these 10. Just letting you know, and proves to me what those of us were saying on that final night during the 2020 season against Kentucky. When I was doing the post-game show, I said, listen, if you're going to go out and hire a guy, it needs to be Shane Beamer, and it needs to be now. He gets the program. It's a fit. And I think it proves that it's a fit, and he's able to get more out of the talent early on, and he recruits his rear end off. So I think that shows.
Yeah, one of those top 10 games, by the way, was last year at number 7, Alabama.
Yeah.
Skin of the teeth. All right, the 7th fact of 2025. Heading into the season. Pretty cool. South Carolina has finished top 4 in the SEC in turnovers forced every year under Clayton White. Every single year. They've led the league once, but the top 4 every year. Have no reason to believe that won't be another characteristic. Shane Beamer talked about it Tuesday. We wanted to see them force some more issues. They did in the scrimmage last weekend. And we all anticipate that this team will carry that torch and that banner into this schedule.
And I mean, you look at that, even the down year in 2023, that Florida game stands out to me in my memory and wakes me up in a cold sweat sometimes. This defense is opportunistic. And again, I hearken back to those Spurrier years. That defense was opportunistic and created turnovers and put their offense in better position with some short fields. And it's a system now for Clayton, in my opinion. I know you lost a lot on the defensive side, but this shows year over year. Again, I'm repeating the same phrase. He gets everything out of what he has and puts them in position to be successful. They do it every year.
No doubt. Because you could be having a bad day. One pick will change the course of it. Yeah. All right, the 8th fact coming into 2025 for South Carolina football is this. The Gamecocks enrolled 19 freshmen early this year, 7 more than they did last year. It's 31 kids in about 19 months that they've enrolled as true freshmen. 28 of those 31 are still here. You don't see that all over the country. And a lot of them are very talented too, and a lot of them have already made a name for themselves. So the future continues to be bright. Those early enrollees, it's a kind of a new fad. But the Gamecocks are getting them in major doses.
Yeah, Jordan Gidron is a prime example of that. That's a name to watch in that wide receiver room. Tracking him at Ridgeview the last couple seasons, kid's a stud. And again, that's all culture. JB, you're looking at 28 are still on the roster, and they're probably talented, I would imagine, and could go somewhere else and start immediately if they wanted to. Something to be said about what's happening in that building for sure.
No doubt about that. You got that right. All right, the 9th fact. Justin, by the way, Hale is coming up in just a second. You're welcome to stick around for that if you'd like to. Okay. Last year, Carolina's defense produced its 2nd lowest scoring defense in league play since entering the SEC. Did y'all realize that? 18.1 points per game is the 2nd lowest number that they've given up in league play since 1992. When they crossed over into the Southeastern Conference. Anybody? What year was number 1?
More defense.
Well, it wasn't 14.
Yeah, can confirm.
How about this?
I know the ones it wasn't.
Year 2 under Lou Holtz, 2000. They gave up 15.1 points per game. That defense was special. Yeah, they were really good. Yeah. All right, the final fact here is this. The 10th fact leading into the 2025 Gamecock football season. This is very doable. Last year's offense finished 580 yards shy of setting a program record for the most yards of total offense in a season. How about that? To break that record, they got to increase their yards per game output by a smidge over 48 yards per game. From 408 to 456. They can do that and obviously score. Carolina could have the best offense in school history in 2025.
Doable.
Very doable. Yeah.
More than doable.
Very doable with Lenor Sellers.
Again, you look. The Old Dominion game might have a lot to weigh in on that 2024 number, right? Wouldn't we all agree that?
Yeah, and Ole Miss.
And Ole Miss, obviously. You have a guy in his second year who is a freak athlete at the quarterback position. Not to mention that running back room that we highlighted earlier, the wide receivers who I believe are going to be really good, and that tight end room as well. This offense has potential, which scares the daylights out of me as somebody who was born into this. I just get nervous talking this way. That offense can be really good. But if you'd have told me that 2024 offense did that when you're sitting just after the Clemson game, I don't think I would have believed you immediately. I'd have had to go parse the number. Mm-hmm. But now looking back almost a year ago, you're like, oh yeah, that offense did hum. It hummed under Dow Loggins. And you'd have to believe that Mike Shula is going to just do much of the same things, just simplify it a little bit and stretch the field.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're literally one turnover away.
You're one drive.
Yeah. Eliminate one turnover from every game and you can make that happen. So let's go.
Or just shove it down their throats. All right. It's 10:33. We'll step aside. You going to stick around, Justin? You're welcome to.
I can for, I might have to step out. We got a board meeting today for my normal job. And so I kind of have to go be a part of that. But just to let you know, we got a lot of great high school football tomorrow that we can talk about on the 4-Quarter Friday show, 9 a.m. on Chief Sports Network. I got to get the plug in, right?
Yeah.
Cole Bryson from Burns is going to be on talking with us. Burns has a big game against T.O. Hanna, breaking in that new stadium over at Nixon Field. And then we'll have Coach Nick Dixon from Chesterfield on to talk with us about Chesterfield's opening matchup. We got a couple of games that we'll recap because we're scared of rain these days. For no other reason. And I'm looking for one more big-time game, South Florence and West Florence, rivalry game in the PD. How about that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, tomorrow's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait for 9 a.m. I'm all in, man. I know you're part of us, but I'm all in. So looking forward to it. 9 a.m., 4-Quarter Friday, Justin and Steve. Thank you, buddy. Have a great day.
Guys. Have a good one.
Thanks, Justin Hall. That's Phil. I'm JB. Hale up next.
At Moultrie Insurance, our agents are working for you. Our commercial lines of coverage are well-sourced and intimately chosen. We offer commercial lines of coverage such as business owners, umbrella, property, auto, or general liability coverage, and evaluate every option to find what fits you best. Like a good offensive coordinator, we will draw up the plays, but only run with what you feel comfortable. Get in touch with our quarterback, Perry Orth, or our head coach, Frank, by visiting MoultrieINS.com. MoultrieINS.com. Moultrie Insurance, proud supporters of the South Carolina Gamecocks.
Morning, Carl. Usual?
Yeah.
Your oldest was in here the other day. Said the two of you took a trip down to my neck of the woods. How'd that go?
You might as well give me one of those Carolina cars while you're at it.
I knew I liked that one.
Yeah.
There you go, my friend.
Thanks.
Hey, Carl. Congratulations.
See you tomorrow, ready?
You bet.
Nana's Porch presents a Southern staple delivered right to your doorstep. Nana's Porch locally crafted pimento cheese has been a hit for years at weddings, tailgates, and other events. Now you can order online and have it sent to your home. Visit nanasporch.com. That's nanasporch.com and click the pimento cheese tab to choose between their original pimento cheese and their jalapeno smoked pimento cheese set. nanasporch.com. Man, that's good.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is.
This crowd, the atmosphere that's going to be in that stadium, ready to explode, just as they do each time their fighting Gamecocks are introduced.
And so this frenzied crowd ready for the kickoff. The rave breaks out in Columbia.
And what you're about to see is a spectacle unto itself. Let's enjoy.
8:57. Welcome back inside the Gamecocks, the morning show brought to you by our friends at Gamecock Traditions, where if you buy it now, you could get your money back if the opening kick is taken to the house in Atlanta, Georgia. More on that in a minute, but first let's get to Hale because we're a little bit late tapping him in this morning. What's up, brother?
What's happening?
Well, apparel deals are happening. We got commitments tomorrow. We got kickoff 10 days away. We had 10 facts about Gamecock football entering the 2025 season. Hale, it's a busy morning. Got Perry Orth coming up. Justin Hall doing high school sports. Loaded, man. What's happening with you?
Not much. Just trying to figure out what these new Puma uniforms are going to look like. With the Blanchard logos on the field. Is that going to clash? Puma and Blanchard?
So I was hoping for a Skechers shoe deal.
Okay.
But it looks like Nike's going to be the big dog. So it's okay. You can still purchase your Skechers somewhere else and just, pull for the Gamecocks anyways, regardless of what swoosh or whatever's on there, right? So I'm with you. I do think Puma's kind of out of the uniform deal now, though.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Maybe for the track team. Maybe the track team will have a special.
Puma and track. Yeah, it actually would probably go pretty well together, to be honest. All right, let's get back on track. Darius Gray will announce the decision tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. I believe that's actually going to be live streamed on 24/7 Sports, correct, Hale?
Yeah, the YouTube channel. It's now branded as the CBS College Football YouTube channel, but the 24/7 YouTube channel will be carrying it. It's set to start around 7 o'clock, so my guess is it will get a final answer somewhere between 7 and 7:30. It doesn't always happen right at 7 o'clock, but when our folks carry those things, they're pretty on time. They won't be too delayed, as announcements can be. But yeah, this one should be good news for Carolina. But it's not 100% done deal yet. Still trying to get through the finish line, but certainly looking like a positive outlook for the Gamecocks.
Yeah, so it continues to be what you've reported on probably for months, honestly.
Yeah.
On this Darius Gray thing. I think, Hale, you've been very consistent, and every time we ask for an update, the update pretty much reflects the last update. They're in a really good spot. I know there's some, whatever you want to call them, crystal balls, predictions, stuff like that coming in today from national analysts across the country who have kind of waited till the last moment to shove those out there to us. But if it does go Carolina's way tomorrow night, as we feel like it will at this point, what has tied the Gamecocks and Darius Gray together for so long?
Just the fact that they've been recruiting him for so long. I think it would have been in the summer of 2022, which would have been going into his freshman year of high school. And he was down at a O-line, D-line camp and over at Williams-Brice Stadium, like they typically have those. And he was already one of the guys just standing out in the group as a rising freshman. And they offered him that day and have been recruiting him pretty hard since then. It wasn't his first offer, but it was like the third or the fourth one. So literally in on the ground floor with him, and they've just been steady, building relationships with him. I mean, I guess Greg Atkins was the offensive line coach at that time, and obviously he's still around the program, and Lonnie Teasley was the analyst, and obviously Lonnie's now the offensive line coach, and Sam Survey has been doing his thing with the recruiting department and specializing in offensive linemen, and Survey is also from Virginia, so he tends to really hone in on offensive linemen from his neck of the woods where he grew up. I think he might be from the Richmond area. So just a lot of guys recruiting this 5-star, and of course Shane Beamer has been involved too here more so of late within the last year or so, just given how the logistics of recruiting happen. But he's certainly been involved as well. So it's been a total team effort for sure. And if they get through the finish line, it won't just be hey, good job, Lonnie Teasley, or hey, good job, Sam Survey. It'll be, hey, good job, everybody, because it's truly been a group effort, like it is with pretty much all the guys they're after, but especially the big time prospects who they really want. They tend to surround them with a lot of people and make sure that they feel like they're a priority from just a volume standpoint.
Their recruiting philosophy over there is a well-oiled machine, Hale. I mean, they just it's incredible. A lot of off or side roads we'll take real quick here with Darius Gray. One, he would be the 4th offensive line commit in this class. He is projected to play the interior at South Carolina, correct?
I don't know 100% sure what Carolina's staff views him as. I think we see he's an interior offensive lineman on 24/7, and I think On Three Rivals has him as the same. But I wouldn't necessarily rule out the possibility of him playing tackle. I don't know what his arm length is. Like that could help him potentially, because I think he's like 6'3", and obviously that's not always prototypical tackle size. But if he's got long enough arms, I mean, he's certainly got the skill set and quick enough and got good enough feet and all that I think he could potentially play tackle. But yeah, I think probably long term, and that's how 24/7 operates when it comes to ranking and rating guys, or even putting them in their position, is long term being how they would project to the NFL. So yeah, long term he's probably more of an interior guy, but at the college level, I wouldn't rule out the possibility of him playing tackle.
Just out of curiosity, so I know how you do things when you watch these play. I was under the impression, Hale, that you took a tape measure with you, so you could measure out their hand size, or arms, legs, wingspan, all that type of stuff. You don't do that? Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't. I let the guys who work in Carolina's recruiting department do that, because that's something they do.
Oh,
sure. Yeah, they I leave that to them. They got to do something, so I'll let them do that.
I thought you had like a book, diet, wingspan. No. Okay. All right.
No,
I just wanted to clear that up. I need to stop giving you credit for all that stuff then.
No, I mean, hey, if you want to, that's fine. But I don't do it.
Okay. Zion Giles, Kamari Blair, Anthony Baxter, and then if Gray commits, that'd be 4. That quartet right there of offensive linemen, if that's I'll get to, never mind. Let me hold off on that. That foursome right there, collectively as a group, what how would you describe it?
Well, starting with Baxter, who's been committed for almost a year and a half now from South Point High School in Rock Hill. He's definitely an interior guy. He's a big fella. He's a wide body, and he's a really good football player too. I mean, he's not rated very high on 24/7, and probably won't be for whatever reason by the time it's all said and done. But he's a really good, tough interior offensive lineman who I think's got a pretty bright future. I mean, he's got to continue to develop his body, but I think he's got a good future for sure. Giles, who he's rated higher on like Rivals and On Three than 24/7, I believe. Oh, I know 24/7 bumped him up and got him up to the 4-star status, but those On Three and Rivals guys are really high on him. And the thing with him that I kind of wonder about is and I think Carolina is going to try to figure this out when they get him in, is he going to be an interior guy or a tackle? That's going to be a to be determined type of thing for Giles. So whatever that means for him is rating wise, I'll let everybody debate that. That's not what I'm going to get too into, but I think he's intriguing because he's got a bit of an edge to him when he plays a position. He really likes to finish blocks. So however that translates to the next level in college, that'll be interesting to see. Kamari Blair is a tackle, 100%, no doubt about it. He's tall and got the frame that he's. I don't know exactly how much he weighs now, but he's probably in that 270, 275 area, give or take. And 6'6" ish. What you look for in an offensive tackle prospect. And, coming out of those official visits during the summer, this was before Kamari Blair committed to Carolina. I tying this back to Darius Gray is, from what I was hearing, that they felt best about where things were with Darius Gray, and were pleasantly surprised when Kamari Blair picked Carolina over Ole Miss and Tennessee, and they're really fired up about that one, as they should have been. So it's a kind of a diverse group where, like again, Baxter's interior all the way. Giles could maybe be a swing type of guy. Perhaps the same for Darius Gray, and then Blair is a tackle all the way. So they've got an interesting blend, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, the Blair kid, I kept looking at this guy's picture, Hale, and I kept thinking to myself, he looks like somebody I have seen before. Who does this guy remind me of? And then it hit me. Have you seen The Longest Yard remake by Adam Sandler?
I've not.
Oh, then you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
Anybody that has, if you remember the big dude that played offensive lineman in the Cons versus Guards game, they couldn't get him to play. And Sandler finally said, "You get to play against the guards," and he goes, "I play." If you watch the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. Go look at that guy, and then look at this guy. It might be the same guy, as a matter of fact. So, anyways, I don't really know why we got into that. Every single year, it seems Carolina's gonna take 4 or 5 offensive linemen, maybe sometimes more. I would be shocked if they ever take less than 4. Hale. Is there anybody else on the board currently that South Carolina is in the mix for?
No, I don't think so. And they took 3. I believe it was in the 22 class, but that was a different era, even though it was only a few years ago.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, no, at the high school level, I think they'll be done.
Okay.
I don't want to say 95% sure, but pretty close to it, to certain that they'll call it a day with those 4. And that's not to say that they'll hit the portal and try to grab a guy. Maybe they won't. I don't know. We'll just have to see how that plays out in December. But for now, the high school level, they'll take those 4 and move on and try to see what they can get on the other side of the ball along the line.
No, you never know with the portal and linemen, as you know. I'm actually sitting here looking at the roster just to kind of refresh myself. We'll see what happens with the draft with, maybe a Casey Henry or something like that. But Rodney Newsom Jr., the transfer from Western Kentucky, is in his 6th year. Nolan Hay, the transfer center from Incarnate Word out of Katy, Texas, he is a senior this year. Nick Sharp, of course, the transfer from Wake Forest, who is in the mix to play, no doubt. He is a redshirt senior, and then and that's it. Hale, that's it. Everybody else, Boaz Stanley, a redshirt junior, as you know, still actually very young. That's actually a little bit misleading for how much football he's actually played.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of these guys are, as it stands today, all eligible to return in 2026. But we hadn't even started 2025. So, all right, we'll be monitoring the Gray situation tomorrow night. I'm gonna open the door here and let you take in any direction in which you want to take it from a recruiting standpoint. What else are you monitoring that's in the short term?
Caden Ramsey, the tight end prospect from Cross, he plans to make his decision at some point during the week of, I believe it's September the 8th. Is that Monday?
Okay.
So at some point that week, I think we'll hear what he's going to do. Felt pretty good about Carolina's chances with him since they offered in the end of June. And short term, that's kind of the main one. Then after that, it's seeing how things take shape with visits and guys coming in for games this fall. Somebody in the chat box was asking about flip targets. And there are going to be a handful of guys that they're going to try to make that happen with. Demarion Watkins, the safety from Northwestern, and Rock Hill, committed to A&M in July, I guess it was, is certainly a flip target. Samari Matthews, the Texas commit from Charlotte, Carolina's obviously still interested in him, but I don't think he's as attainable as Watkins is. That's for sure. Then of course, like Julian Walker, Dutch Fork, the Michigan commit. Zion Ely from the DC area who's committed to Maryland. We'll see if Carolina can make any progress with him. So those are the handful of other guys who are kind of out there and we're keeping an eye on. I would imagine the staff would love to try to flip Carson Baker, the running back who's committed to Florida. If he's open to it, I'm sure they would love to have him still because was the top guy on their board, probably still is for all I know. Nothing against Amari Thomas. They just want to take more than one running back in this class and have wanted to do that really from the get-go. So a handful of guys that they're still recruiting that have committed elsewhere. And really off the top of my head, as far as non-committed guys, I'm blanking on any other names besides Gray, obviously, and Caden Ramsey.
Okay. Yeah, the kid. I love the kid from Cross. Go ahead.
I'm sorry to cut you off. A non-committed name, the Gustav Henriks Ross.
Oh,
yeah. I can't. I just butchered the hell out of that. But the Swedish guy, defensive end who got an offer at camp, is certainly a target as well. Non-committed guy.
Yeah, I think there's 18 states currently represented on the South Carolina football roster, and I believe 2 countries because Justin Okoronkwo is originally from Germany. So if they get a guy from Sweden, I mean, this is truly a global football phenomenon that's happening in South Carolina. It'd be crazy.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask Shane about what other countries he's going to send guys to.
I mean, if they need me to go, cover any commitment announcements, I'll be happy to go to really anywhere in Europe. I've never been to Europe. I'd be happy to do that, or Caribbean. They need a punter from Australia at some point down the road. I'd be happy to go check out one of those.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I was kind of thinking like some remote islands somewhere or something. Hey, did you see the college football campus tour on Twitter covering that small, tiny little college in the northern tip of Alaska? Did you see that?
I did not.
Man, that was so cool. They try to get to like every ballpark in America, small, big, whatever. It's a really neat little gig these guys have going. And I can't even remember the name of it, but literally on the coast of northern Alaska, there is a blue turf football field. And these guys play college football.
I have heard of that field. I think ESPN Game Day did something on them semi recently. That's really close to Russia, though, isn't it?
Yeah, a little too close to comfort for me, but yeah, like you're playing football, then a rocket comes over, you don't want to deal with all that.
Yeah, hey.
But yeah, I'm with you, man. I mean, that was really neat. I don't even know why I started thinking about that. If Darius Gray commits tomorrow, Carolina will move up to number 18, just behind North Carolina at number 17, which is crazy because North Carolina has 36 players committed. This will be the Gamecocks' 16th. I do wonder at what point in time, and I know that they've been making some adjustments. I'm not so sure they're there yet, but I'm not like the crazy recruiting numbers guy, Hale, as you well know, so I don't really dive into all of it. But I do feel like there should be a little bit more weight on quality of player and are they filling needs? And I don't even know how you address the filling needs part. But a lot of these teams are signing 30 and 40 guys. I mean, of course, they're going to be way up there. South Carolina's not going to sign a class anywhere near that, but the quality is going to be excellent. So I don't know if they'll ever adjust ratings on that or what, but just curious.
Yeah, I mean, there are different metrics you can look at. Obviously, with the average player rating is one that people talk about a lot on the Big Spur and pay attention to, especially with this class because it's just not as big numbers wise. But that average player rating, I think the last I looked at it, it was still
90.93.
There you go. Yeah. So then that's, I think, compared to everyone else nationally, I think that's within the top 12-ish, somewhere in there. So yeah, that's probably a little more representative of what the class is, especially now that it's, I mean, 16 is a decent number, obviously compared to like UNC. It's a lot lower. And still, I mean, and another way to kind of think about it or slice it up is there are, I think, 3 other teams in the top 25 that have fewer than 20 commitments, like Florida, Oregon, maybe LSU. And yeah, South Carolina is still like 2 and 3 guys less than them. So yeah, it's like we've said for a while now, the classes, and I think Darren Usher was on this very program and said it as well, that it's probably not going to be much more than 20 guys in this class, the high school class. So yeah, they're going to have a hard time breaking through that ceiling, even with potentially a 5-star in Darius Gray and possibly some other highly rated guys who could eventually jump on board. It's just going to be tougher to get past some teams that have, 25 or more guys committed in their classes.
Yeah. Darren told us right 15 to 20 a year is probably where South Carolina is going to settle in for a while from the high school ranks. And as you mentioned, there's some flip candidates out there. Tamarian Watkins, that's never been over since the day he committed to College Station. We'll see where it goes. Any quick thoughts you want to add in the next minute or two on camp, what you've seen? Obviously, they're kind of dialing things in now for Virginia Tech. We should get a depth chart next Tuesday before Shane Beamer takes the podium in his final PC ahead of game 1. But any interesting news, notes, or nuggets you want to pass along?
Yeah, I found it interesting that Isaiah Augustov has been a name that's come up a lot throughout this month. Stuff that I'm hearing, stuff that JC and Tony have been hearing, like he's really flashed in these scrimmages, and I guess Shane talked about him a little bit yesterday, or Mike Shula talked a little bit about him yesterday, and it really sounds like Augustov's gonna have a pretty prominent role within this offense, and hey, that will be a welcome addition if Sewell is not freed by August 31st.
Yeah, he's again with Augustov, you got to remember. I feel like I'm getting monotonous with this. I'm not talking to you specifically. I'm just saying anybody out there maybe hadn't heard it yet. He played behind the worst offensive line in college football last year in a system that threw it 70% of the time, and he was RB1. Throw the stats and stuff to the side. When I think he had 400 yards, 80-something carries. Don't look at all that. He needs to be in a system where he can shake and move and groove, Hale, and maybe he's in one now. Under. Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say most experience at the power conference level on this roster at that position.
Yeah. That's a good point. Good point. Great point. Matter of fact, that was part of our facts earlier, including Faison, over 5,600 career rushing yards at the collegiate level with this group of tailbacks. Over/under oars in the running back category in next week's depth chart. 3.5 over/under.
Oh, well, that's a tough question, because if Faison hasn't been cleared, is he on the depth chart? Then that could affect that very line.
1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4.
Right? Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, you would be. All right, let's just do 3 or more.
Basically, 3 or more?
Yeah. Are you buying that?
Yeah, for sure.
I think they're all oars, to be honest.
Yeah. Is there going to be an oar at every position?
There will be one at left guard, I think, even though I feel comfortable in saying I think Shed Surratt's going to get the go there. But
let's include offensive line as one. Sorry.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what about probably not quarterback? If they just have 2 quarterbacks, it would be Lenor and Luke. But if they go beyond that, like Cutter Woods or Aaron Nolan.
Yeah. Might see one. You'll see some in the backups at receivers. I don't know how many you'll see with the starters.
I think there are going to be a lot of oars at that receiver position.
Yeah. Might have one with the starter. I think 2 are pretty cemented. But you might have one. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe you have 3 starters and then a bunch of oars. I don't know.
Perry Orth's coming up next. He'll probably know.
Yeah, Perry knows everything, man. The guy can.
Just because he's got Orr in his name, I feel like he's got some insight on that.
Yeah. And unlike Garcia, who was on yesterday, Perry cuts his hair. He takes a bath. Doesn't run around naked. I don't think. Hey, we'll do it again next week. We'll get a little game preview from you. Can't wait, man. Thank you so much, as always. And we'll be following along tomorrow night for the big announcement.
Appreciate you. Have a good one.
Man. There you go. Hale McGranahan with the big spur. Perry Orth up next.
Home fitness has evolved. With Matrix, now there's no limit to the ways you can chase your goals. It's time to make your next workout whatever you want it to be. You can use all of your subscriptions or none at all. Take on exclusive hit programs or move through immersive HD destination footage while you sweat.
Visit charlestonfitnessequipment.com.
Palm Casual Patio Furniture are proud supporters of our Gamecocks. We have been making and supplying the highest quality outdoor furniture you can find for almost 5 decades. If you use your outdoor space to watch the Gamecocks, make it the best it can be. Visit palmcasual.com or visit one of our 4 locations in South Carolina. Go Gamecocks!
Remarkable, 5-star, sensational. These are just some of the terms used to describe nationally renowned chef William Turner out of Scottsdale, Arizona. Originally from Georgetown, South Carolina, and a diehard Gamecocks fan, Chef Will made his way out west and has served parties from every state and many countries from across the globe. Visit chefwilliamturner.com to inquire about private events and more. Food from every culture, all of it first class. chefwilliamturner.com and Chef Will Turner on socials. You won't believe what you see. You really won't believe how it tastes.
You're tuned into Hour 2 of Inside the Gamecocks, the morning show. Presented by the Barn Dough Company and Resto Pros of the Midlands. Go Gamecocks!
With a little love and some tenderness, we'll walk upon the water, we'll rise above the mist. With a little peace and some harmony, we'll take the world together, we'll take them by the hand. 'Cause I got a hand for you.
All right, 11:05. Welcome back. Final hour, the morning show brought to you by Palm Casual, palmcasual.com. Make your outdoor space the best it can be. This football season, Gamecock owned and operated. Palmcasual.com and Palm Casual has 4 locations in South Carolina. Head to palmcasual.com. All right, is it nap time, Perry? Is that why you got the lights off in there? What's going on, man?
I do need to turn the lights on. I apologize. We just moved into a new office in West Columbia on State Street. So if you want to come by and talk Gamecock football, that's where I'm at for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, and bring a lamp.
Yeah, well, I got the lights. I don't know why they're on. I got the natural light coming in here. I just took some ibuprofen. I'm getting through a little bit of a migraine, so if I'm not on my A game, that's why. But I think I'll be okay. Drinking a ton of water, I think just a little dehydrated.
Well, that's what hard work does to you, Perry. You get Moultrie Insurance. You've got Right to Bear. You got a young child at the house. You got a wife. Life just gets in the way, man.
JB, did I tell you that Shannon's pregnant with another girl?
No.
Yeah, baby girl number 2 due in January.
Congratulations, man. We're doing this early on the air. These are the things we need to talk about off the air so we can spaz out over it. That's awesome.
Thanks, man. So we're excited. I'm going to be the best frickin' volleyball coach in this state. You mark my words.
Hey. Yeah, it's dude, there is nothing better than little girls, man. There's just nothing better. Mine are everything in the world to me. Like, nothing matters in my eyes except for them. And Carrie, of course. Sorry.
Yeah.
But man, that is awesome. Man, she's getting a hell of a dad. Hell of a dad.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to tell you, but that means we're definitely gonna try for a boy. I'm gonna end up probably with 5 girls and a boy, but I'm gonna get a boy eventually.
Yeah.
But I may need to if I don't get that boy, I may need to call Connor and get his 2 boys trained up and ready to come lead the Gamecocks like his dad did. So we'll get him ready to go. But no, that's I appreciate the kind words, man. We're excited, but I am not as excited, but pretty darn close about football season being a week away. And I know the games are this weekend, but the real games start next week.
Yeah. It'll be here. You'll blink your eyes. I mean, a week from tomorrow, I'm flying to Atlanta. I'm like, man, this thing got here in a hurry. By the way, give Shannon a hug for us, please. And we'll send you another couple boxes of diapers in the mail. As you figured out, you can never have enough diapers when you have little kids.
Never. No, it was crazy. It's kind of insane how fast they go through. And it's like, you think like they get older and slow down, and maybe we just maybe it's just my thing, my family thing. But yeah, the no shortage of poop around the Orth house.
No, it's the trash guy. He would skip over our home every couple of Wednesdays.
Oh yeah, he's active. The trash guy's active in Shandon, Columbia, South Carolina. So
that's right. Beautiful Shandon. Real quick here, the news of the day: Gamecocks switching to Nike. That will be announced tomorrow. But we have been given the go ahead to mention that. We'll talk more about it on the program tomorrow. South Carolina Athletics is going to Nike next year and moving away from Under Armour. But Perry, doesn't matter what logo you got on your jersey. You still got to go play ball, man. Thanks for having a shirt on, unlike Steven. We did talk to Garcia yesterday, and as our pair of quarterbacks here, we do have a former quarterback that occasionally shows up when he remembers on Fridays, and Michael Flint. But y'all are like our real quarterbacks, guys who really played quarterback at this level. I think I would be doing a major disservice to the thousands of people who will watch and listen to this program and not focusing on Lenor Sellers, especially with somebody like you who is a student of the game. You know Lenoris, you study quarterbacks. We got Steven's thoughts and takes, and I hate the word take, but a lot of his views on Sellers and his progress yesterday, and I really want to get yours today. So, I don't know if you've spent much time around him this summer or not. I know you've probably seen him in spurts and things of that nature, but to blanket this conversation, just kind of throw it out there, and then we'll go from there. What progress have you seen from him, both like the technique of being a quarterback, but also the leadership side of it since the end of his redshirt freshman year?
Yeah, no, I think those are great topics to talk about with Lenoris. I think I met him a couple of years ago just in passing, so I don't really know Lenoris like I've known some of the other players, but everything that I see, he looks like a phenomenal kid. Yeah. He stands for all the right things. He earned, not that it's important, a lot of respect with me by staying here, being the in-state guy, being the legend. I think if he has another breakout year like he did last year, he'll be regarded as one of the best we've ever had, certainly in discussion for the best quarterback we've ever had. He'll be a top 15 pick. I think he truly has that kind of ability. I think the next steps for him, in my opinion, everybody's like, oh, he needs to get better as a passer. It's like people don't even know what that means. His next step that he can focus on immediately, which is completely in his control, is taking care of the football. I think there were a couple turnovers last year in some of the games that we lost that really bit us in the rear. And even with some of the lack of high-profile names on the perimeter, we still had the ability to make the playoff, which was crazy. And I think we will be much more explosive on offense this year just due to the talent that we have surrounding Lenoris and having another year under his belt. Passing, getting Shula back, I know is going to be just unbelievable. Anytime you can bring back the QB coach from the previous year, and I know Dowell was titled that. He was more OC and Shula was managing the quarterbacks. But, Mike Shula is a guy that has developed quarterbacks at a high level. Cam Newton, his rise in the NFL is a lot of it has to be attributed to what Shula did as a passing game guy and a QB developer. I think they have a fantastic relationship. And when I say they, it's Lenoris and Mike. And, as far as form and technique, I don't actually train Ramon. He trains with Coach Ramon Robinson, who works in the Greenville area and goes over to Florence. And Coach Ramon's done a fantastic job with Lenora. So definitely want to give credit to Coach Ramon on that. I think then the next step is the non on the field stuff is what is he going to do to rally the troops in the locker room and kind of take the battlefield at quarterback. You are, unfortunately, whether this is who you are or not, you play that position where you have to be the guy. You don't have to be the rah screaming and spitting and get in the locker room. Let's go. Like Tim Tebow's halftime speech against Oklahoma, where he's, look at me. Look, you don't have to be that guy, but you need to be the first guy leading the team out of the tunnel. You need to be the first guy on the practice field, last guy off. You need to be hanging out with your teammates outside of the locker room and just doing things that are getting people and your teammates together. Those are the little things that when it's the fourth quarter and it's a tight ball game and you're looking at an offensive lineman in the eyes and he's hurt, he's got a sprained ankle, and he's got to block a top 15 pick. Like that look, you don't even have to say anything, just a look in their eyes, like, I need you, bro. Like, step it up. And the guy with the sprained ankle blocking the top 15 picks says, you know what? I'm going to muster up this juice that I have to protect him to ultimately win the game, and so on and so forth. And so I think Lenoris has all of those things. I mean, he's one of the most high-profile names in college football. He's got a ton of hype coming into the season. My one advice to Lenoris is, dude, play your game. Don't try to be this pocket passer to get ready for the NFL. Don't be somebody that you're not. You have beyond plenty of ability physically to be the best player on the field every time you step foot out there. Play within the offense, take your completions, and then when the big play's there, obviously take it, right? Take care of the football. If no one's open, tuck it and run and go do what you do best. Don't overcomplicate it. Go and play the way that you've played your entire life. If he does that, takes care of the ball, doesn't try to be this big drop back NFL guy immediately, I think we're on the verge of seeing one of the better players to ever suit up in the garnet and black. I'm not trying to brown nose the kid, but I do believe in his ability. I watched him in high school, and I remember texting Jody Wright from the stands of the state semifinal saying, this dude is for real. And we had just offered him, and I just said, guys, whatever you need to do to get this cat, we need him. And we got him, and I'm glad to see my talent evaluation actually coming to fruition.
You hit on a couple of things there that I believe are just enormously important for Lenor Sellers. One is you referenced the rah-rah guy versus not being the rah-rah guy, but you're still the leader in the clubhouse. Like, everybody's still focusing on 16 when he runs out of the out of the tunnel. And I've referenced this a couple of times. I think maybe it went over some of the heads of some people, or they just don't care. But I think it really actually adds more commentary to the type of person that Lenor Sellers is. And what I'm referencing here is back at SEC Media Days when he was asked by some goofy reporter the goofy question of, well, what do you listen to on game day? He's like, well, I don't really need anything to amp me up. I'm more listening to things to calm me down. And that really hit me as a former athlete, Perry, because it's usually the opposite when you ask that question to an athlete. And I think it just described everything that you just described about him. But what I'm curious about here is, as a former leader of the huddle like yourself, God, I just bought these pins and I just broke the daggum thing. Sorry, that's just it. I bought new pins and I always break the little things because I play with them. You know what I mean? That you slip on your shirt.
Yeah.
But what I'm curious from your perspective as a former leader of the huddle is how that calm translates to the football team. There's going to be a lot of very close football games this year for South Carolina, just like last year, and quite frankly, just like any other year. And they're going to have to win their fair share of those, if not all of them, if they want to get really, really where they want to end up. And we all know where that is, right? Playing late in December. And so, to your point, you're describing linemen and looking them in the eyes and things of that nature. What's the difference in a guy who is steady Eddie versus a guy who is very animated when you're trying to put that game-winning drive together?
Yeah, well, I think there's certainly times where you have to flex into being that rah-rah guy, like, minute drive, you're down by 3. Guys, let's go. Like, we're going to go to, grab the ball, go down the field. Like, let's lock in. Let's pay attention. Let's make sure we're doing everything we're supposed to. Like, all of that stuff, you sometimes got to do that. But when you're that even keel guy, which is more of my belief as quarterback, don't get too high or too low because the game can change within, boom, a snap of a finger.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you have that calm presence, even in the midst of chaos, you're down by 3, you're playing on the road with a chance to go in the playoff, and you're still the same cat you were on Wednesday afternoon after class or practice on Thursday morning, or the first quarter of the game, or at halftime when you were breaking down the X's and O's of it.
Mm-hmm.
That goes a long way, because people are going to feel that and say, like, why should I be nervous or anxious? Like, look at Lenor, our best player in our program. Seems like he's got it under control. Like, it's just another day in the office for him. So having that steady presence at quarterback, it gives the play caller a lot of confidence that the quarterback's not jittery, so he's not worried about calling a play that maybe he doesn't want to. Maybe he doesn't want to put the quarterback in a bad situation that he can't handle. But if the quarterback is steady and even keeled, he's going to call the plays. He's going to call the offense to which is going to ultimately get the ball into the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's, in my opinion, that's why it's super important to see guys super even keeled. A couple nights ago, I ended up coming across the Ole Miss Florida game from when Tebow, the year they won the national title, when Tebow's team lost to Ole Miss at home. And, people think of Tebow like the before, the after, the national title game. Look at me, the fired up motor guy. But during the sideline and during the game, all throughout the game, his demeanor was even keeled from start to finish. Mm-hmm. He was as cool and calm the entire game as he was at the start of the game. And I think that a lot of that had to do, or because of that, it helped with the success of when they got to the national title. They were up 3. And then that motivational spark came, kind of like, okay, Tebow's jacked up. Like, it's time to kick it into high gear. And so those instances of spark and high energy, they catch people's attention too. So versus being the up and down guy, when you're steady Eddie and then you hit him with the, hey, it's time to lock the bleep in, it certainly catches people's attention.
The guy that played right before Lenor Sellers here, his name was Spencer Rattler. You may remember him. He's probably going to be starting for the Saints this year. I think one of the great memories of his tenure in Columbia was the 2022 Clemson game, because he threw that pick that was taken to the house early in the ball game. And Perry, obviously, what happens in the stands and in the living rooms of people watching South Carolina versus what happens on the sideline are generally two entirely different things. But Spencer Rattler walked off the field and nodded his head and said, "No, I'm not done yet. We'll take care of this." And he did. He ended up throwing for 360 yards in Death Valley. and it was Dead Valley by the time they got out of there after Antonio Williams coughed up a fumble, if we all remember. You mentioned Lenor Sellers and his athleticism. Be who you are. We did talk to Steven a little bit about this yesterday, but curious to get your thoughts on it as well, because I feel like there's a very fine line. We've heard a lot about the development of Lenoris under Mike Shula. You mentioned Cam Newton. I'll go as far back as your beloved Jacksonville Jaguars, David Garrard, Mike Shula, coach David Garrard. Back then, obviously, he was working with, right before he came to Columbia, he was working with a guy named Josh Allen in Buffalo as an offensive assistant with the Bills.
I completely forgot he was in Jacksonville, by the way.
Yeah, Garrard was all pro under Mike Shula.
Yeah, he was excellent.
So the guy knows what he's doing when it comes to coaching quarterbacks. But I asked Steven this. I'm going to ask you the same thing. How thin is that line? How fine is that line when you've got a guy the caliber of athleticism that Lenor Sellers has, who has the instinct to say, I can do this here, whether that's take off and run 30, 40, or 50 yards, fling it somewhere that is like, oh, God, versus this is how you're taught to do it here. I mean, how thin is that line in taking away something that might not be the way that it's coached, but it will work for a guy like him?
What has to be taught, and that ability has to be brought into what is taught. So, for example, like if I was coaching Lenoris and I've had the opportunity to coach athletic kids, not to the caliber of Lenor Sellers, but kids that had a little bit more of that dual threat mentality where they had the ability to tuck it and run and make something out of nothing. You teach them the offense. Okay, you call this play. We're going to call whatever pass play. Here are your reads, 1 and 2 to a check down. Make it simple. But then if 1 to 2 to your check down's not there, then you go and be Superman. Does that make sense? So you don't extract it from the teaching. Make that part of the teaching. Run them 10 times, maybe not 10, but run them 5 times a game. Run the power read, run the speed option, run the QB counter, right? Run the jet motion and QB counter back the backside. You can still do those things. Don't overdo it. I think the first game he had 28 carries or something. It
was a lot.
Kind of nut. It was crazy. I'm not saying you need to do that, but build his ability into the offense. Like, hey, Lenoris, if your progression is A to B to C, your option D is you tuck and run. If you get threat, run. Don't belly out, climb the pocket, keep your eyes down the field, right? But if you climb the pocket, I always taught 2 slides. You get 2 climbs, 1, 2 on your second one. If there's nobody there, run, because then you can play for the next play. And I would teach that even if it was Tom Brady, right? I mean, because you want to take care of the ball. You don't want to take negative yard. You don't want to have negative plays. You want to give yourself the opportunity for the next play. So if they bake his ability into what he's doing, I don't foresee there being an issue. I think in the bowl game, we saw him try to be a little bit too pocket passing and a little jumpy where the balls were high and he wasn't as accurate. And to be honest, I think he was just putting too much pressure on himself to come out and be, the guy that led the charge versus Missouri and Clemson and the A&M game and, the playoff team that got robbed. We got to get out there and beat Illinois' ass. And so he had all this pressure where he doesn't need that. He needs to go out there and play within the game. And I think that with his ability, with what's around him, what's on defense, I think that we've got another playoff team knocking on the door. Again, going back to my first statement, as long as he does what he can do, which is control the football, take care of the ball, he's going to have a breakout year. He's going to be a top 15 pick. And because he stayed in Columbia, he will be forever loved by any Gamecock and be able to do whatever he wants, whenever he wants in this state.
That's such a good point. Michael Flint says that all the time, man. You want to have a home to come back to. And Lenor Sellers and his family, credit them. They know that. All right, final one. We'll talk a lot about
real quick on that note, though, like I look back and I can tell you till I'm blue in the face, like being somebody, I'm not from South Carolina. I have no family here. I have friends here now, but when I came here, I did not. The way the state has taken somebody like me under their arm to give me opportunities that my family has never had the opportunity to do. The proof's in the pudding, and I wasn't a quarter of the player that Lenor was. But if you do the right thing, you're a good person. Somehow your legend gets bigger after you get done playing. But yeah, I'm really proud of the family that he comes from to talk that wisdom and to make $1 million less, but then go and be a top 15 pick and make $20 million more.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point. By the way, on that note, you mentioned, not near the player that Lenor's was. I want to make sure I'm right about this. I'm trying to pull it because it just clicked my mind. Yeah, he got you, man. If it wasn't for that 75-yard run against LSU, you would have a longer run and rush in your career than Lenor. It's the 66-yarder in College Station.
Yeah, I'm pretty salty about that, but I
you gotta give credit.
If I'm completely kidding. If there's literally anybody to come in and do it, I'm glad it was him to say, like, well, look at that guy. He's a freak of nature. How about a normal guy? Let's see when the next normal QB comes and does something like. But, no. All jokes aside, though, no, I'm excited for Lenor. I don't know him personally. He seems like a phenomenal kid, and I wish him, a healthy and a successful season.
All right, we'll end it on this. We'll talk more. We'll talk all about the game next week, as a matter of fact, as we get there. And I know we got to get you out of here, but we end it on this. There are to the general public, to the general population that follows this sport, that covers this sport at a national level, et cetera, across the country. Aside from Lenor Sellers, they don't really know who anybody else is on this team. Oh, well, maybe Nick Harber could be okay. We'll talk about him next week. We do. We cover this team pretty well, and we utilize our sources about as well as we possibly can. Perry, I am very much so under the impression that this South Carolina offense is going to surprise a bunch of people early in the year this year, and it shouldn't be much of a surprise, and they'll attribute it all to Lenor Sellers if they do run out there and put some points on the board, like I think that they will. But what surrounds him are a lot of unknowns to a lot of people who aren't in the immediate area like we are. And so I'm asking you, the same question I asked Garcia yesterday about this offense. Are you cautiously optimistic, or are you optimistic about what they're capable of doing?
Yeah, I'm optimistic. I know the freshmen that they brought in, they're local guys, and they're all elite players recruited by some of the top talent, or top schools, I should say, in the country. Bringing Mazio back, getting Nick back, who just put track to the wayside to come in and focus on football. Losing Simon at tight end, but I always forget the guy who came in and played a little bit last year, who's now going to be the starter this year.
Talking about South Carolina, you're not talking about Josh Simon. Are you talking about Mike Smith?
Mike Smith, thank you.
Okay,
he played a little bit last year and had some good moments for us, and he's a good player. I'm very, very optimistic about the talent that's going to be rolled out there. But I'll say this once, and I've said it again, said it last year, and I've said it all off season. Anytime you trot number 16 out there at QB, you got a shot.
Got a chance. There's no doubt about that. They got a lot of chances.
Looking forward to watching him play and watching the offense come together. I can tell you that.
Oh, God, I can't get here soon enough, man. I'm going to watch that Dallas Cowboys thing tonight, and then watch a little football this weekend, and then we'll be dialed into the Cocks. All right, Perry, if people need your services, how can they find you? How can you help them?
Yeah, so for today, we're going to focus on when we started the Right to Bear insurance program, which is the self-defense program we talked about last season.
Yep.
In parallel, we ended up spinning up a property and casualty agency. So any business owners that want myself or any of our teammates to come and give them a quote, give them another perspective on their business insurance, commercial, GL, workers' comp, property, auto, all of that stuff. If you own a business or you know someone that does, we've got a team that'd be happy to help you. It's what I did for the previous 8 years, or I guess 5 years before we solely focused on the Right to Bear program. So got Danny Gordon, former quarterback, who's on our team, who's helping grow his business, obviously still with Frank Cannon. And so we got some guys that know the business. They know it well. Frank trained me. He's training Danny. We've got a team to support your needs, and we'd love an opportunity to give you a quote.
Yeah, Moultrie Insurance, one of the great spots we have on here. Well, draw up your play on the board there. I don't know why it hit me, but Frank Cannon is such like an amazing guy. He's like just a great dude, obviously.
Yeah.
But the Home Alone keeps connecting me, so I just want to call him Uncle Frank. Can we call him Uncle Frank moving forward?
Yeah, he's we can call him Uncle Frank on the Moultrie side, but for Right to Bear, our logo, he's Frank the Bear. So
he's Frank the Bear. Does he ever walk in and go, Jesus, Perry, look what you did, you little jerk?
No, not to my knowledge, but I'm gonna continue to make sure I keep it that way. So
sorry to ruin your vacation, Mr. Cheapskate. Oh man. We'll give Uncle Frank a hug for us and tell him thanks. Always thanks to you. I'm glad we're talking ball, man. We've missed you in the off season, but it's right around the corner.
Yeah, man. Take care, guys. We'll see y'all later.
Later, dude. Congrats on number 2. There you go. Perry Orth. It is 11:33. We need to hit a timeout. Don't go anywhere, though. Plenty of Gamecock football when we return.
Jeffrey's got space and a touchdown. Can you believe it? Touchdown! He caught it on traffic. Scores!
Are your wood floors dirty, scratched, worn, or unsightly? Refinish your hardwood floors with Recoat Revolution, your solution for dull wood floors that need an upgrade. Our one-day, dustless wood floor refinishing process is simple, effective, and affordable. Our goal is to serve as many customers as possible, so give us a call in South Carolina, 803-397-1365, or visit us at recoatrevolution.com. Go Gamecocks!
Welcome to Dry Space Crawl Space Solutions. Basement crawl space encapsulation designed for your specific needs. Your crawl space can be susceptible to all sorts of issues, including moisture buildup, mold growth, and structural damage if not cared for properly. Let our trained experts provide basement crawl space encapsulation solutions to protect your home, improve air quality, and enhance energy efficiency. Schedule your consultation today for a safer, healthier space at dryspacecs.com. Dry Space Crawl Space Solutions, proud supporters of your South Carolina Gamecocks.
The Aventon Adventure 2 takes the same basic design as the original Aventon Adventure, making it an adventure bike designed to take you places that typical roads just don't reach, allowing you to ride whatever terrain you want based on your whims of the day. Look at what you're getting. Hydraulic disc brakes, torque sensor for responsive pedal assist, great LED lighting, suspension, a beautifully welded frame with excellent build quality, included rear rack, included fenders. The list just keeps going on.
Visit electricbikescharleston.com for more.
Hey Gamecock Nation, my name is Kyle, longtime listener of the show and avid golfer. I wanted to take my game to the next level, but let's face it, golf is a hard game to learn on your own. I heard the ad from McKellar Enterprises and reached out to the owner and former Gamecock golfer Meredith Taylor. In just 2 months of working with Meredith, I shot my lowest round ever, and I've never felt more confident in my golf game. So if you're looking to take your game to the next level, go to McKellarEnterprises.org and book your lesson today with former Gamecock golfer Meredith Taylor. Go Gamecocks!
It's a celebration. Celebrate good times, come on.
There's nothing like Saturday in South Carolina. However you enjoy Gamecock football, Gamecock Traditions has a long-standing legacy of being a part of your game day. From tailgates to touchdowns, Gamecock Traditions has what you need and want with our beloved Block C logo. Get into Gamecock Traditions in Lexington or the Village at Sand Hill, or visit GamecockTraditions.com and have it shipped to your doorstep. We look forward to taking care of your family. Go Gamecocks!
Are your wood floors dirty, scratched, worn, or unsightly? Refinish your hardwood floors with Recoat Revolution, your solution for dull wood floors that need an upgrade. Our one-day, dustless wood floor refinishing process is simple, effective, and affordable. Our goal is to serve as many customers as possible, so give us a call in South Carolina, 803-397-1365. Or visit us at recoatrevolution.com. Go Gamecocks!
Introducing this year's Carolina Jackpot $5 scratch-off ticket, featuring a chance to win up to $200,000. You can even enter your tickets into the Second Chance promotion. Step on the court for a chance to win $50, $75, or $100,000. This Palmetto Series lets show who really runs this state.
Bring on the storm that's raging. If you get lost in the shadows, there's a fire inside you. Be the light that guides you. Come on, carry your flame. Carry it higher. Even in the darkness, carry your torches. Come on, carry your flame. Set the night on fire. Even in the
It's 11:40. Welcome back inside the Gamecocks, the morning show built by the Barndo Co. and brought to you by our friends at the South Carolina Education Lottery. Over 244,000 scholarships and grants funded by lottery proceeds in the last 23 years. That's incredible, man. Thanks to them for what they do for students in South Carolina. Gamecock fans, remember the Carolina Jackpot scratch-offs are on sale now. You can go to sceducationlottery.com for game odds and details. And remember, if you enter the tickets, they've got what's called the Online Players Club app. You can download that, and you'll have a chance to win $50, $75, or even $100,000 to an upcoming women's basketball game. Well, that's interesting. I was just sitting here looking at a note, and I got a text that came in from one of our great friends around here who has tweeted something from the internet that can't be good, and it's not. Looks like the 4-star offensive tackle Kamari Blair, who we just talked about, has flipped to Tennessee. So Gamecocks losing a commitment there. Well, that sucks.
Interesting.
Yeah, he has decided he's going to go. Oh, you see what happened here, Phil?
You got fooled by the internet. Maybe not you, but somebody else.
No. This is apparel related. Oh. Nike is not for him. He's an Adidas guy, and he's going to Knoxville. He don't want to wear Nike. This whole Under Armour thing has thrown Kamari Blair into a major tailspin, so he's going to go play in the foothills of Tennessee.
Okay, sure.
Tell you, well, that's what happens. You know, kids commit to schools because of apparel brands, right?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you right now, South Carolina's in the top 10 recruiting class for the next 10 years under Nike. They screwed the pooch.
That's right.
Screwed the pooch for all those believers in that crap. That's just a bunch of nonsense.
Hmm.
But so that's not good news. It's a good news day till that. Oh, well.
Yeah, well, life's all about balance.
Yeah. Kid must be a fan of McDonald's. Yeah, stopped in at a McDonald's in Kingsport, Tennessee. What in the hell was under that Big Mac?
That's not what I ordered. Oh, wait, that'll be okay.
Don't you want to be a Vol, son? But you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it. Even with the news of Nike, again, we can confirm it here. And I want to give our buddy David Cloninger with the Post and Courier credit too. He was the first one to push it out there and I believe maybe maybe the second. I'm not sure. I don't really care. I don't really keep notes on that, but
Scoop's not really our thing, you know.
Yeah, not really. But we can confirm that they will be going to Nike. South Carolina will be. Even with that, it's not till next year. It's not going to be till next year. So you still need gear, Phil. It's okay. By the way, just give you a heads up here. It is okay if you have a South Carolina shirt that has the Under Armour logo on it.
Right.
You don't have to go like burn it all. Oh, I'm not buying Under Armour. No, sir. I'm going to wait till next July. Get me some Nike stuff. No, you're not. And we all know that you're not going to do that. So buy it now, because if probably Nick Harbor takes the kick to the house in Atlanta, down the sideline, one shoe like Xavier Legette into the end zone, you get your money back. If you buy between now or like 2 weeks ago and August 31st at 3 o'clock. What a promotion. At Gamecock Traditions, GamecockTraditions.com, which, by the way, just before we came on the air today, they dropped so much new gear. Like, they've been selling out of gear.
Yeah.
You're welcome, boys. So they've got a whole new line of gear. They got all kinds of stuff in there now. So head to GamecockTraditions.com or go in and see them in West Columbia. I tell you what, man, it was good to get Perry Orth back on the air. He's so eloquent in how he speaks, and you know, I had a phone call yesterday, Mad Dog, with somebody who I talk a lot of ball with, I'll put it that way, but is very cautious every year of the hype train. Been doing this a long time, been around, and it was like, yeah, you know, I'm the same I was last year, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and 20 years ago. I'll believe it when I see it, which is fine. I generally try to put my eggs in the basket of people who know a lot more than I do. That's why they come on this show and talk. Why the hell do you want my opinion all the time? It means nothing. Those guys mean a little bit more. They do spend time around the coaches. I didn't get to credit Perry there, but I've got it in the notes to credit him next week for like 3 years ago, right here on the same program, standing up and saying, I'm telling y'all right now, Clayton White is the answer at South Carolina. Everybody needs to get off, get in your truck, put it in reverse, get off his back, let him coach. And that obviously has worked itself out. But Perry and Steven yesterday, just both in things that they've seen and with conversations that they've had with people inside of that program, players, coaches, whomever, both chose the optimistic approach. I can point blank tell you that going into last year, it was a cautiously optimistic approach by those guys and more. And they all were dead on. They said, I'd like to see it progress, and hopefully games 3, 4, and 5, after you get about 12, 16 quarters under your belt, this offense will be a little bit more fluid. And they were right about that. Mm-hmm. And the results clearly prove that. They're at the front of the bus this year, though, Phil. And I believe that South Carolina, someone asked earlier how many freshman receivers will play. I think it's pretty safe. You're going to see at least 5. I mean, they're going to play.
Oh, yeah.
How much do they play? They're going to have to earn that, but they will play. And there's a lot of people that just don't know a lot of these names, but they will know a lot of these names once you get a few games into the season.
I agree. I mean, there's opportunities, and you got to rotate guys in and out. But I mean, there's so much talent that flooded into that room as youthful freshmen this season, and all but one got here early. And even then, the guy that didn't get here early, and Murph, has made an impression even in the short time he's been at school. So, yeah, I'm expecting some big things out of that young receiving core for sure.
Yeah, I'm still on the Brian Rowe bandwagon, by the way.
Yeah, I love Rowe. Rowe would probably be my number one. That would, if I were to pick, who are we going to see the most of? Rowe's probably it. Lex Cyrus is intriguing for me as well. Maybe more in the return game, but there again, you got to have sure hands. So if he's got them, I'm sure he'll be out there because he's a dynamic player with the ball in his hands.
Yeah. Yeah, he's man, they all, they're the thing about the young guys is just getting them to a consistent point. Like, where are you going to? It's not an effort thing. They're all giving that. I know that, but from a production standpoint, it's easy to fade as a freshman in every sport. You have your ups, have your downs for a multitude of reasons. Whichever of that group of 5 or 6, I'll go with 5. Let's stay there. From that group, whichever 2 guys, 3 guys that become the most consistent by about week 3 or week 4, they're going to be playing a lot more. It just is what it is. I mean, it's just kind of like the running back thing here. All the running backs are going to play, Phil. But I would bet you this, based on Markel Blackwell's career and how he coaches and just how things naturally work themselves out, by week, let's go with week 4, maybe week 3, there will be 1 or 2 names that really have emerged in the tailback room. And I don't think that's going to be discrediting the guys that didn't. It's just they've kind of stepped up into that role, and that's who they feel most comfortable with getting more carries. Somebody's going to have to get lathered up. I mean, you can't go the 12 games with 5 running backs getting equal reps. That's never going to happen, or 4. There's going to be 1 or 2 guys with a lot more carries than the other guys. Doesn't mean the other guys won't play. They will. But somebody's going to have to be, well, this is the guy we're most confident with here or there or on the goal line or whatever the case is. And it'll all work itself out. Do me a favor real quick. Do we have another break to get to or no?
Oh, we can hit another one if you'd like. We've got room. Right quick and gather yourself.
Yeah, just real quick. Then I want to come back though to the 10 things to know about Gamecock football that we had earlier in the program.
Okay,
can we do that? Can you go to cut 1 there, Mad Dog? Cut 1 on the G track, please, sir.
Gotcha.
All right.
Welcome to Dry Space Crawl Space Solutions. Basement crawl space encapsulation designed for your specific needs. Your crawl space can be susceptible to all sorts of issues, including moisture buildup, mold growth, and structural damage, if not cared for properly. Let our trained experts provide basement crawl space encapsulation solutions to protect your home, improve air quality, and enhance energy efficiency. Schedule your consultation today for a safer, healthier space at dryspacecs.com. Dry Space Crawl Space Solutions, proud supporters of your South Carolina Gamecocks.
Oh, man, the building is on fire.
Emergencies and accidents happen. When you're in the middle of a fire or water event, all you want is for things to return to normal as soon as possible. Resto Pros of the Midlands is with you, guiding you through the process and working with you to get your home or office back in working order. They'll answer your questions, discuss procedures, and can act as your advocate when it comes to processing your insurance claim. Resto Pros Midlands SC.com. Open 24/7 when you need them. Quality that is guaranteed.
Welcome to SEC Sunday Night, part of the Chief Sports Network. Every Sunday night at 8 p.m. on the Chief Sports app, the Chief Sports YouTube channel, and on our X accounts. Hosted by Rob Williams and Craig McMichael, talking the week that was and what's to come in the SEC. Join us every week for SEC Sunday Night on the Chief Sports Network.
It's football season. The Barn Dominium Company wants to help you build your dream home with your dream space to watch the games and entertain your friends and family. Make your dream a reality. Visit thebarndominiumco.com. That's thebarndominiumco.com for floor plans, photo galleries, locations, and to learn more about us.
Morning, Carl. Usual?
Yeah.
Your oldest was in here the other day. Said the 2 of you took a trip down to my neck of the woods. How'd that go?
You might as well give me one of those Carolina cars while you're at it.
I knew I liked that one.
Yeah.
There you go, my friend.
Thanks.
Hey, Carl. Congratulations.
See you tomorrow, ready?
You bet.
Tune in. This is Inside the Gamecocks, the morning show, built by the Barndo Company. Go Gamecocks!
Just as long, just as long, stand by me, yeah, yeah, come on Tuesday, by me, won't you, stand by me, won't you stand by me, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dude, that guy is. Have you ever listened to Steven Wilson Jr.? Have you ever listened to his album?
No, I have not. I have not.
Dude, he was like a rocket scientist or something before he just said, I don't want to do this anymore. And my voice is awesome and I know how to play guitar. I mean, his vocals are sick. He's so good. He was invited to Red Rocks with Eric Church. You don't get invited to Red Rocks with Eric Church unless you're worth a damn.
Yeah, probably pretty good. I do like his voice. I've been wondering who that is. So good.
Steven Wilson Jr., that's senior's son.
Right.
Steven Wilson Senior's son, Steven Wilson Jr.
Usually how that works.
Well, not always, but yes,
No.
that's how it should work. It's like some of these NFL guys, like, yeah, I'm John Smith III. Were you named John Smith III? Well, no. So is your dad a junior? Okay. You're just the third. Well, I'm the third one. Okay, John.
Yeah, well, you could kick it. Maybe it's the George Foreman style, right? Where you just name every one of
all of them George
after yourself, just number them as they come out.
Hey, look here, man. We've had this problem in Columbia before. Gerald Dixon's boys, Gerald Dixon and Gerald Dixon Jr. Was Gerald Dixon on the tackle? No, that was Junior. Oh, shoot. Gerald Dixon Jr. makes the tackle.
So are you a junior or a second guy? Like, what do you prefer? I like the second. I don't know, just because
I don't know.
Sounds more regal. Not that I would do that, because I never would. That was one thing that was like, if we're going to have a boy, it definitely won't be Phil Jr. I was always opposed to that.
Yeah, I wasn't going to do that either. I was going to name mine after my dad. My dad was Jimmy, and I'm Jamie. So they just,
okay. Yeah, so you get to keep the J.
Yeah.
See, we have a running theme in our naming thing with the double L's, because I'm a double L Philip. So, and I also have double L's in my last name. So both of my daughters actually have double L's to match that.
Yeah. We combined in ours. Hannah James are two family name. James is not after me, it's after my father. Hannah is after my grandmother's maiden name.
Mm-hmm.
Riley May, Ryelee. The Lee part comes after Carrie's side, and May also comes after Carrie's grandma. So we did family stuff. Pull up number 2 real quick, if you don't mind, please, sir. Number 2 on 10 facts about Gamecock football entering the 2025 South Carolina football season. How about that?
Wow, look at that. Went too far. There we go.
Yeah, all good. So we mentioned this earlier, which this is just incredible to me, that Steve Spurrier and that vaunted offense in 84 league games coached in Columbia, of the 44 games he won, less than 20% of them were by 20 or more points. Shane Beamer's been here for 4 years, and he's got 7. Half of his wins are beating the brakes off of whoever they're playing. And again, as Justin Hall pointed out earlier, it's not just Vanderbilt every time. Hell, they survived to beat Vanderbilt in 2021. I mean, they beat Tennessee by 25. They beat A&M last year by 24. I mean, they've beaten the crap out of some really good teams in the SEC. But I mentioned earlier, though, Phil, about the some of this kind of gets lost a little bit. because you've had so many extreme scores, both positively, as this graphic references, and negatively. There have been some rough moments under Shane Beamer, some games that were over before they ever played, like, trick plays where you throw your defensive end in there to try to pass it into the end zone and things like that. And, those are days that, we'll all just assume forget. I would encourage you to not, because it's a reference point of how far you've come if things stay on the up and up. But what I'm getting at here, what I didn't put on that graphic is that he's 15 and 17. Okay, in league play.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about 7 of the 15 wins, basically blowouts. 8 of the 17 losses have been by 20 or more points. Now, only one happened last year. That was the Ole Miss game. And 2021 was the worst. They had 3 games, 20 plus point losses in the league. 2 in 2022, 2 in 2023. So, 8 plus 7 is 15 for you Tiger fans. Name whatever Tiger you pull for. 15 of the 32, half the games have been lopsidedly decided one way or another for South Carolina in the league. Okay, lopsidedly decided. I'm not so sure that half of the 8 games they play in the league this year are going to be lopsidedly decided. One way or another. I just don't think that, Phil. Like, I do think I would say this. Maybe this is garnet glasses type talk, and but I really believe it. Like, I'm not just like trying to speak it into existence. I actually truly believe this. If there are some lopsided wins in league play, I think they're for South Carolina. Like, I don't look at the schedule, regardless of the trip to Baton Rouge, regardless of the trip to College Station, regardless of Alabama coming into town. They got to get wherever. It doesn't matter. I don't look at any of those games at all and think head and shoulders, that's a head and shoulders game. Carolina is going to be starting from the ground up from the opening kick, and let's just see how long they can hang in there. Maybe something good happens. I don't think that's there. Do you?
No, I don't either. I think there could be a bit of a reverse narrative early in the season, right? That says, okay, offense is going to kind of hold things up for a while, at least help it out, right? Where the defense was, kind of what supported you getting through the early part of the season until the whole team gelled after 6 games. And then this year, I think you've got the opposite set up, maybe not to such a dramatic extent, right? But you've got the quarterback, you've got the talent, you've got everything you need. So it should pull together. But, the potential for lopsided victories with the offense kind of being the perceived strength of the team heading into the season, it could, as a function of schedule, because you're looking at Vanderbilt, Missouri, and Kentucky, none of which really known for, or at least heading into 2025, going to have the most stout of defenses when you get into SEC play. So those could get a little upside down for the opposing team, all depending on how the offense executes.
Yeah. It's and I want to, as much as we also want to beat the drum for the Gamecocks and project that, they are going to, blow out 2 or 3 of their 8 opponents this year. I want to be very fair to this conversation. Like, I think that this league, I think maybe, I don't know when it was, a couple weeks, because there's nobody projected. The highest win total that you can put money down right now in the SEC is 9.5. There are no 10.5s. So there's not a double-digit line on the over-under for wins in league play. Now, do we think that – I won't say we because I don't want to speak for you. If you're asking me, do I think – will the SEC have a team with 10 or more wins this year? Well, of course I think that. I think they'll have multiple.
Same.
But I also believe, Phil, kind of bringing it back to the point of this stat here, I mean, I think that there's like 12 or 13 teams, honestly, who are capable of winning anywhere between 8 and 10 games. And obviously, they're not all going to do that. I mean, you eat your own, but that if it all goes right, I'm saying capable. How many will come out of that group? Probably 2, maybe 3. But so I don't know that there's going to be a ton of blowouts. I mean, I'm not so sure that there's any better way to even summarize that than what Raphael mentioned last week, what Mike Morgan mentioned just the other day, and what Brad Crawford mentioned yesterday. All 3 of them mentioned they thought Arizona State should probably be careful in Starkville. Arizona State is not playing the league. It's not a league game. It will not be a result on the SEC in the SEC standings. But I think it also is indicative of the fact that Mississippi State last year was terrible, dude. They were awful. They didn't win a game. I mean, they were
zero expectations nationally for that program this year, based on last year's results.
Yeah, you felt bad, right? I mean, they were awful. I mean, it was kind of not. It wasn't as bad as '99 South Carolina, but it sucked. So. But if they're capable of beating the Big 12 champ 1 year removed from a college football playoff, or at least hanging in there, then they're capable of beating somebody in the SEC that nobody sees coming. And I don't think Mississippi State is one of those teams, for what it's worth, that is capable of winning 8, 9, or 10 games. What I'm saying is that they would have influence on one of those teams that could do that. And same with Vanderbilt. If you said give me one team that could virtually have zero influence today, if there's a fan of this school that happens to be watching this, I want you to know something. We are not reflective of one of the groups that you have that covers that program in your state. This is just a thought as it stands today, and this thought could obviously be changed in the next couple of weeks. It's just the general feel with the vibes coming out of there. It's Kentucky. Like, I don't like anything about that's going on in Lexington at all.
No, something is amiss.
They just, jeez, Phil, like we mentioned last year how fragile they were. Goodness gracious.
I really you kind of figured okay, they're down. All right. Obviously there's chaos up there in Lexington, and then that they maybe would right the ship. I mean, Stoops is not a bad coach, right? I mean, we've seen him put together some solid some solid teams up there in the program. So, but I don't know. There are a lot more question marks, I think, for some of these teams in the SEC this year heading into 2025, JB, than there have been in years past, at least for me.
Yeah. Well, and I think that adds to what we've been talking about just a moment ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're one of those 12 or 13 teams that can answer a lot of those questions, you can be in the mix. But if you obviously, clearly, if you can't, then you won't be. I mean, I think Kentucky is fragile. I'm not so sure that they're just very good. And fragility is another word that needs to be used with what's going on at Auburn. I mean, dude, none of this stuff that's coming out of Auburn is good. I mean, and if it is, they have a very strange strategy of trying to create some sort of positive environment before the year starts. I know that Hugh Freeze is behind closed doors is saying, look, these other guys aren't going to play. This is the starting quarterback.
Yeah.
And maybe that's his public message, to kind of get Jackson Arnold going or something. I don't know. Maybe that's a motivator. He coaches a team. I mean, who am I to tell him how to motivate his team? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know anything about Jackson Arnold. But it's a strange way to do it, man.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm sure there's some gamesmanship in what's coming out of Auburn with this whole quarterback situation and play calling, whatnot, and I mean, and to in their defense, it may be a shrewd move because Dave Aranda can put together a solid defensive effort even if they don't have much offense down at Baylor, and that's where you're opening on the road in a hostile environment in Waco, Texas. So. I'm sure there's some of that going on, but at the same time, what did we see of Jackson Arnold that would be like, oh, all he needed was to be on, under Hugh Freeze's tutelage, and he's going to take that next step this year? I mean, there's no real game film from what we saw last year with him to indicate that he just needed a new situation to blossom.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm sure there is a healthy competition going there, but more than likely it's being overblown by the media and maybe even coming out of the building to the media as some sort of gamesmanship.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I just tell you, if that was our football coach here in Columbia, South Carolina, who was like, yeah, we got like 8 coordinators and we got all kinds of quarterbacks. And, by the way, Auburn just announced that they're going to put Yellowwood on the field over there, which is
shock of all shocks.
Are they going to fall apart in Jordan Hare over that? I was looking at some future lines for the Gamecocks. For anybody wondering, hey, where's JC? JC has a doctor's appointment today. So there's no show. So Phil and I are just kind of bleeding over a little bit until we decide that we want to go eat a free Krispy Kreme donut, which I just saw that they announced.
Free donuts?
Tell me you're not the guy that sits in line all day for one free Krispy Kreme donut. You're not that guy. Right? Okay.
No. I'm the guy who will intentionally avoid the street on which Krispy Kreme is located so as not to get caught up in the mile-long line for a free donut.
But when I worked at ESPN, I had a window seat to the highway, and there's a Krispy Kreme down the road.
Oh.
And like the first couple of months that I was working there, I noticed one day that the traffic was backed up. I thought there was a wreck. It wasn't. It was National Donut Day, and they were giving away one free donut with your order of a dozen. That line was, I'm talking 4 miles long.
Yeah,
I was like,
insane. Yeah,
these people are nuts.
No,
over one donut.
Yeah.
Oh God.
$10 for a fresh dozen tomorrow.
I was kind of trying to summarize this, just like how close the league could be in a lot of these games this year, and there are some interesting lines. I did, but there's nothing future on South Carolina beyond Virginia Tech except for one ball game. 4.5-point dogs at home to Clemson. Interesting.
Really? Like nothing for SC State. That's different, but no Vandy line. No
Alabama. Nothing.
That's crazy.
No, just the 7.5 on Virginia Tech. That's all I found. I mean, if there's something else out there, maybe there is, but I don't have it.
No, I don't either. I don't see it in ESPN. Might have some.
No,
but I don't really buy into that. That's their ESPN bets. It's not. Yeah. Listen, the Gamecocks are going to win 10 games this year. So, yeah, I mean,
you're already out there, huh?
No, I tell you what, though, if you want to feel optimistic and positive about things, go back and listen to last night's late night Gamecock show, because Matt and Alex just can't help themselves. They get into a way of picking wins and losses, and they're like, "Oh, what do you know? We arrived at 10 wins."
Oh,
both of them. I'm like, okay, that works.
I don't do all the predictions. I'd never be right anyways. I've done some quiet ones off the air just to see how I am, and actually I was pretty good at it. But that's for internal use only.
Yeah, I mean the boldest prediction I've made is not even a Carolina one heading into the season, and that I think Syracuse is going to beat Tennessee in Atlanta the day before we all arrive in the bins. And I'm sticking by that. Now, I know Syracuse lost a lot, but again, you want to. Things at Tennessee could be a bit more fragile behind that large T up on the top than what we really think. But there again, they could, with that schedule again, go 9 wins and be in the conversation for a playoff spot. So I just think they have a very wide range of outcomes this year.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Matter of fact, it's something I've kind of got planned next week. Who are the top 5 most fragile football teams in the SEC entering the season, and what is impacting that? We'll do that with Mike on the air next week. But yeah, I put it this way: I don't think South Carolina is one of them. They've proven over and over again under Shane Beamer they can bounce back, and last year was the kind of the perfect example of that. All right, well, I'm out of breath, and now I need an avocado. Any more?
Fire up a little music there. We'll see ourselves out.
Parting. Any parting shots before we decide to exit stage left here?
I don't know. Speaking of Matt, if you want to take him to task, he'll be on the show tomorrow with JC and myself. I'm not sure where he is in his day today, JC, but I would imagine he's taking a delightful nap, and hopefully we get nothing but good news coming out from the inside of his body.
Oh, yeah. That's JC is the ultimate. Not only do we call him cold water sherbet, but he's also TMI.
Oh yeah, he's an oversharer. Classic. Yeah, classic. Yeah,
Yeah.
At least you know with him, there aren't very many secrets when it comes to JC. You know where you stand. You know where everybody else stands.
Hey JC, you don't have to tell people that. It's okay. Sometimes they just want to drink the Coke. They don't need to know what it's made of.
Right.
Of course, these days you're about to find out what it's made of.
Let's hope.
It's all about to change.
Oh, it's made of a lot different stuff than it used to be, like everything else.
7 o'clock tonight, ESPN, Vegas, and Irmo. Does Irmo get revenge on Vegas, Phil?
I hope so, man. They put it together last night in what was a remarkable comeback. You know why? It's because I said I didn't have much interest in the Little League World Series, and now here we are. A local team is drawing me right on into it. That's all right. That's what it was going to take anyway. So, go Irmo boys.
I was, as you know, last night in my office until when did I email you? 10:30 or 11 o'clock?
We were all in the office way later than we needed to be last night.
We're working on all kinds of stuff. What's the 21st? So if South Carolina wins, then they would play on Saturday in the U.S. final.
Yeah, I'm pulling the bracket up now.
Yeah, they have to win. They have to win today, and they would play Saturday in the final for the U.S. And then they would get the international. If they win that game on Sunday, they would get the international champion for the title. So they're 3 wins away from being Little League World Series champions. Irmo is. How about that?
Yeah, there's only 2 of the Final 4 set already. I don't know where this Metro team comes from domestically. Who is the Metro?
Yeah.
Is that Mid-Atlantic?
Well, they had the Mountain West, the Great Lakes, the Southwest. I don't know. What is the Metro of the U.S.?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Who is the Metro?
Because they've already advanced.
Yeah. And Asia Pacific has advanced on the international side, so they're already locked into this.
Yeah.
Final 4, if you will.
You're waiting on the Caribbean or Latin America, and then you're waiting on the Southeast and Mountain. I don't know, man.
So Metro's probably up there in that New England region because the team this year is Fairfield National from Fairfield, Connecticut. So that kind of makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I was a little thrown off by that.
Yeah, I couldn't wrap my head around that when I saw it. I'm like, Metro, that could be, I don't know. I think DC metro area every time I see the word Metro. But that's, just because I used to live in the DC metro area. So,
well, they would have been had Irmo hung on in that 1-0 game. Would they already be in the Southeast? They'd already be in the U.S. final. Yeah, they'd already be in the U.S. final had they hung on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because both of these teams are carrying a loss.
That's true and not true. They would have had to win one more. So if they would have had they won that game, and then last night would have been for the Grits, and that result held true, then they'd be in the U.S. final already.
Yeah,
man, that's incredible. By the way, how Irmo advanced out of South Carolina? They won right down here on Johns Island, at the field that I coach my girls on. Isn't that crazy?
That's wild.
I once played on that field in a little league. We got shafted by a team out of Florence, so we were 12, dude. The kid got out of the driver's seat of his car when they drove up. What, 12? I mean, dude, you want me to tell you the names of the kids that were on that team? Like, we were loaded. Like, Havens and Cisco and myself. Like, Hudson Dodds, who played at the College of Charleston. I mean, we were loaded with players. Loaded. We beat the crap out of everybody. This team shows up in Florence.
He's got a mustache.
Look, the kid stepped out of the driver's side door of the car and ran out to shortstop. It was like, I don't think he's 12.
Yeah, hold on.
Do you have a birth certificate?
Yep. We're going to
we got him. Might want to take a peek at that.
Yeah. Of course, then his dad walks over there. He's like 6'5", and you're like, oh, okay, all right.
his dad was younger than he was.
Yeah, right.
Think about that.
I don't know how that works, but
think about that for a second. I ended up playing against that kid in college. I don't even know how he was still around. I'm like, dude, aren't you like 4 years older than I am? All right.
I'd never realized. I'm derailing things, but
you're
37 and under football. Have you seen that?
No, 37 and under.
37U is what I saw, and these guys look old. And I'm like, I saw some clips of that on the little feed today. I'm like, man, I blew both my ACLs just watching that.
Speaking of derailing, we're just kind of having fun now. If you're watching or listening, we hope we're giving you some sort of entertainment. It is the lunch hour. It's nice to be entertained after you've gotten through the morning work hours. You're stressed. You're tired. People knocking on your door all day, calling about problems. Believe me, I know how that feels. So we'll just entertain you for a second. Did you happen to catch Deshaun Foster yesterday? His explanation of why nobody's talking to the media out there?
No.
Oh my God. Come on, man.
Other than nobody cares, I'm not really sure why he would have an explanation.
Dude, come on, man. Like last year, he stepped up on the podium at Big Ten Media Days. Hello. Nice to join all of you here. My name is Deshaun Foster. I'm the head football coach at UCLA. We are located in Los Angeles, California. We know that we're new to the Big Ten. Los Angeles is in the southern part of California. Our colors are gold and blue, light blue. And then he paused. Like, he didn't say anything. It was like, what's coming next here? Is he going to give us enrollment numbers? Like, what's going to happen? Well, that's really all I need to say to introduce us to the Big Ten. So if you have any questions, go for it. Of course, this year he strolls up and says, last year I kind of let everybody know the obvious. So I don't have an open statement. Just fire away. And now he was asked by a reporter, hey, are we ever going to get a chance to talk to the players? No. Well, why not? Well, because y'all put your clips up on the internet, and then if I was an opposing team, I'd be studying those clips to know what players are playing and what we're doing. Okay. What about, like, if we just want to, like, have an interview with the players? Well, then they'll tell you about our football team. Yeah, but like, what if we want to do like a piece on them? Like, where did they come from? Literally, this is a question. The reporter asked him, like, what if we want to do like a profile on your player? Like, where he came from, who he played for, why his story is so unique. I'm not worried about all that. That's why I took our guys to an off-site location to train. All that stuff will work itself out. I'm not worried about marketing. When you win, the program markets itself. Yeah, but what if you don't win, Deshaun?
3-9.
What if you lose again?
There in Los Angeles.
Like, your program sucks is what we're trying to tell you.
Right.
And you don't have any idea what you're doing. You were a great football player. It's nothing personal. But we're trying to, like, help you out here. Nobody cares about UCLA football in LA, and nobody cares in the Big Ten. Give us a chance to allow them to care. No,
some media guy out there having a bad day should have just shot back and been like, Coach Foster, we could have your playbook for Saturday and it still wouldn't matter.
Yeah. Hey, Deshaun. Well, on a serious note, like, I know how this works. What do you think the articles are going to be about now? You're not giving them anything to write about. So they're going to write about you not giving them anything to write about. That's coming, dude. Like, you just took what could be couple of cool stories and turned it into Alcatraz. Why do you want to do that?
No. I want you all to talk about me. Look at me. Don't worry about them.
Yeah. I'm not even sure that was the intended purpose, but that's the unintended consequence.
Right. I mean, it's the dance you have to do with the media is an interesting one, right? I mean, they can help you and hurt you at the same time, and I think that might be one learning curve Deshaun Foster kind of needs to get around if he looks to maintain the head coaching position in college football. Is you got to learn the media dance. You have to,
dude. It's it's crazy, man. Look what Shane Beamer's done at South Carolina. Like, there's a way to work the media. Ray Tanner didn't, do the things that Shane does, but Ray Tanner knew how to use the media to his advantage always as a coach.
Oh yeah,
he was so smart about it. And he developed relationships. That's what you do, man. You don't shut them. I mean, you don't have to like these guys. I get it.
No,
I understand that wholeheartedly. Like, media sucks. I get it, man.
Yeah, and sometimes objectivity is not in your favor, but it is what it is. What about Oklahoma? I saw this on SEC Now last night, I think, where they are selling tickets to the post-game media room for like $700, $690 something.
What?
Alyssa was talking about that with Stinchcomb last night. It's like
Alyssa was
see a guy 70 beers deep going in there. some fan 70 beers deep. I was like, oh, Alyssa, you know how we do it down here.
Alyssa Lang said that.
Yeah.
Coach, yeah. Out of curiosity there. Yeah. As he burps into the microphone.
Can you imagine an enraged, drunken fan trying to tell Fink, I bought my tickets to get into this?
Yeah, I mean, like, what? I don't know. What's crazier, that or Deshaun Foster? I don't know. I was just looking at Twitter. You know what the craziest thing out there is right now? Britney Spears. She's lost her mind. Wait, what is going on in California, man? If you live in California, you got to get out of there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, now's the time.
Like, you got to bail, dude.
If you're still hanging on out there.
Just don't go to Wyoming. My father-in-law, if you have a Colorado or a California tag, he will shoot you dead.
Yeah, that's
tired
right.
of seeing us.
Stop in the middle. There's no need to, stop in the middle. There's no need to. Just right in between those two mountain ranges, right in the middle of the country. They'll be happy to have you.
At least get to Northern California. You got to get out of there.
I don't know, man. There's a different kind of crazy up there. Varying degrees of crazy.
Good point. All right. Raphael's on tomorrow. We haven't put together the rest of the broadcast. Starting next Friday, we will shift to the preview show. Inside the Gamecocks, the preview show beginning next Friday, a 3-hour program. Phil, JC, myself, Matt Anderson, Raphael Esparza. We do have a really neat, very special, small food segment that will be implemented into that. John Strickland, Michael Flint. It'll be a full boat, and from time to time we'll have some special faces jump in as well. So that preview show, we will encourage all of you to tell your friends too, while you'll be able to watch it and listen to it on Friday. If you are gearing up for game day on Saturday mornings throughout the season, headed to Columbia, sitting at home, whatever the case may be, it'll be it'll resonate on Saturday mornings just as it will on Friday mornings and afternoons, and that is the purpose of it. So look forward to that. That begins next week. Tomorrow we'll be back. JC will be back tomorrow as well. And we can't wait. Reminder, Shane Beamer tonight, the first Carolina calls of the season from Backstreet's Grill, just outside of 5 Points. Him and Todd, they'll take your calls, texts, tweets, and beyond. Get you primed and ready to go for Gamecock football. Thanks to Perry Orth, Justin Hall, and Hale McGranahan, and always thanks to Mad Dog and all of you. See you tomorrow at 10 on the morning show.